edition of Alive and Kickin' on Location. Thank you so much for joining me. You know, the purpose of my show is to introduce the world to local movers and shakers here in Florida. And right here with me is Mr. Wade Williams. He is with the hottest act in country music today. The name of his band is Wade Williams and the Wrecking Crew. So good to see you again, Wade.
Thanks for having me. Thank you for coming. Actually, thanks for coming to my home. I really appreciate you.
It's nice to be able to sit here in the comforts of your home here in beautiful Altamont Springs.
Apopka.
Right, okay.
Apopka. And you got to say it right. You got to go Apopka.
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 Okay.
We're in Apopka, Florida.
So the last time I talked to you was in Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
You were with one of the hottest rock bands out of Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've made a transition into country music.
Yeah. Well, I made that transition way back a long time ago. And when we did that reunion in Jacksonville this last summer, that was pulling me into a very uncomfortable zone for me. But it was fun, you know. I really enjoyed playing for those fans. But I've been doing country music since '95, you know. So it's not like a transition right now, you know. I've been popping back and forth from country to rock and roll, but playing that when you and I saw each other last time, that metal show, that was something completely different, and
so you had to
out
kind
of character.
Go back to that.
It was out of character for me.
Was it hard for you to remember all the words of those songs?
It was, you know, honestly, it was difficult to sing the words of those songs, and I put a blog up on Facebook about that. It's like, for me, it was, you know, I have a different faith and a different mindset now than I did when I wrote those lyrics, you know, a long time ago. So for me to sit there and sing those lyrics, it felt wrong, you know, and I'm glad we only did one show. We were supposed to do like a whole European tour, but I didn't want to do it, you know. I just didn't want to be someone I'm not.
So I didn't even know that you wrote those songs, but that's interesting to know, because you are a whole different person now.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about the epiphany you had? I know you talk about it a little bit on your website, how you've been to hell and back and beyond. So tell everyone what happened with your epiphany and what kind of a person you are today.
Well, I mean, I wasn't a nice guy. You know, maybe I was a nice guy. I wasn't a good guy. You know, I was very selfish and self-serving, and my whole attitude in life was drink as much as I can, do as much as I can, get as loud as I can, and not care about anyone else but myself. And I did that for most of my life. And living in Los Angeles when I did, the years of drug abuse and the years of alcoholism and the years of debauchery just really started to take a toll on my soul. And, you know, I believe that God's been knocking on my head for years now. I just haven't listened. And so, you know, one night a few years ago, I finally listened, and my whole life has changed, and for the better. You know, I feel real for the first time, which is just unusual, you know, for me to feel, because usually any kind of feelings that I would have, I would immediately block out with pills or alcohol or drugs or something like that. But now, to live life on its own terms really speaks to my music. Like, my music has changed. I think it's gotten better and more honest. And whether I'm good or whether I'm bad, I'm honest for the first time.
Wow, that's interesting. Well, tell us more about what you have in store with Wade Williams and the Wrecking Crew. Like, you have a website and any events that are coming up where people can keep tabs on you, like your fan base and everything.
WadeWilliamsmusic.com, and I have a band called the Wrecking Crew, and they're all pro guys, you know, from here in Florida. So the best musicians in Florida, and they're rock musicians, and I've turned them into country guys, and it's this really interesting sound. It's because I'm real country and they're real rock, and we've kind of meshed it all together, and it's Southern rock, and it's these guys are really hard working, and we're going to be everywhere in Florida. We're going to be in every honky tonk, every stage we can. Our managers are great. They're getting us lined up with national acts. We're going to be opening up for a lot of national acts that come through Florida. So we're real blessed. Hopefully by this summer, you know, Wade Williams and the Wrecking Crew will be synonymous with Florida country music.
Great. And your songs that you have written go talk about adversity and coming out on the other side better and stronger, which most people I think can relate to, especially you talking about what you've been through in your life. I think all of us have had a little adversity. But what can you, with your songs, writing them and stuff, what do you feel is the message you're trying to get out?
You know, I don't know if there's a message. I don't have, when I write a song, I don't sit down and say, I want this song to do this. I just write it from the heart, and I'm honest about it. And what I do know is living here in Florida now, and as opposed to living in LA, where people really do deal with the hardships of life that a lot of people don't back in Hollywood, I can relate to someone trying to pay their rent. I can relate to someone trying to take care of their family. I can relate to, oh man, I didn't get that bill paid. Oh man, am I going to be able to afford medicine for my kids? So when I write a song about that. And for the most part, the response has been very good, because they're like, wow, I felt the same way. I'm so glad that someone's kind of telling my story. So and for me, being the alcoholic drug addict that I am, and now in recovery, and you know, feeling good about myself today, there's a lot of people out there that still have that same situation, and whether I'm a spokesperson for them or not, I don't know if I want to be. I just want them to know that if they are in a bad spot financially, spiritually, alcoholism, drug abuse, any kind of bondage that they have themselves in, you know, music is a great way to get out of that bondage, even for 3.5 minutes at a time. And if you hear a song that's got your story in it, that can literally take you into more than 3.5 minutes. Maybe a day of understanding, and it turns into a week of, you know, understanding and serenity. So hopefully, you know, my music just speaks to the normal person. And the normal people go through some serious times.
Well, and country songs are known to tell stories all the time. You know, you're not supposed to date a country western singer because they'll write about you in a song. You don't have to worry about you doing that, though.
Well, no, I've written a song about, I've written a song when Allison and I were not married. I wrote a song about her, which is the first song on the record. It's called Kisses to You. And I've written a song about Aiden, our son, which is called Baby Steps. So, yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to write a song about you later, and I'll write a song about Brian. I'll write a song about you before the day is over with. So
as long as it's good stuff.
It's good, yeah. It'll be good.
So tell us about the 4-time Grammy winner and renowned bassist Dave Rowe that is helping produce your new CD. And when will this be available and where?
Well, you know, we're in pre-production now, as well as we're just now, I've written a whole bunch of new songs, and it's just a matter of getting the funding for that. We're going to be doing some showcases up in Nashville, looking for label showcases, looking for labels to fund that. But to have Dave Rowe on board is a big deal, and he's so talented, and he's such a sweetheart, and he brings with him years of. He played with Johnny Cash, he played with Dwight Yoakam, and he knows what he's talking about. And this was the big deal to me when I met Dave and I played some songs for him, and he said, oh man, you remind me of Jamie Johnson. And I don't know if you know who Jamie Johnson was, but Jamie Johnson was, when I first heard his music a few years back, it's what got me thinking about sobriety. So literally Jamie Johnson's music has changed my life, because it started making me think about, well, this guy's being completely honest in song about his life and his troubles. And that turned my whole life around. That was the starting point. And now to get to this point here where I meet this legend in country music who turns around and says, you remind me of the guy who's changed your life. It's just like, it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling, you know. And I'm excited about working with him. He produced one song on this latest record, Baby Steps, and it just came out phenomenal. So I'm really looking forward to working with him again.
And when do you expect the CD to be out, and where will it be available?
You have to ask the record company.
Okay.
And I don't know which one that's going to be quite yet, you know.
Okay, good. Well, you have to stay tuned.
Yeah.
Now, my research on you and your band leads me to believe that you guys are the hardest working band in Florida and beyond. Now, why is that?
You know, all the guys in the band, we've all had some success, but we all kind of feel like we need to prove something. I've chosen the guys in Florida that will not give up. These guys will not give up, and I drive 2.5 hours a day to rehearsal and 2.5 hours a day. I'm on the road 5 hours a day because most of my band lives down in Sarasota. So the few nights a week that we do rehearse, I drive and they drive from all over the place. And, I can't ask for a better band. They rehearse their butts off, and they're excited about being in the back of a van. They're excited about playing honky tonks. They're excited about playing on big stages. They're excited to work. And you don't get that kind of work ethic in a lot of bands these days.
Right.
So I think it's more of an ethic than anything.
And how long have you been sober? Clean and sober now? How many years?
2.5.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
great.
Yeah.
And so there's hope out there for everybody.
Trust me. If I can do it, you can do it.
So if you want to book Wade Williams and the Wrecking Crew, please contact his management team at Crowd Pleaser Artists. You can contact them at www.crowdpleaserartist.com. And I have a couple Facebook questions for you real quick.
Okay.
Your fans want to know,
Uh-oh,
do you
hold on a
prefer blondes or brunettes?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Blondes or brunettes?
Oh, brunettes.
Okay. Boxers or briefs?
Sometimes both, sometimes none.
Okay, well that's good. And any reality shows in your future?
I don't think so, because being from LA, like, I know that reality shows really aren't reality. So, and I had the opportunity to kind of work with some of those guys when I was doing that Rockstar Supernova preliminary stuff, and I'm so blessed that it didn't go the way I wanted it to go, because I would hate to look back at some of the stuff that would have probably gone on reality television.
And it's there to haunt you forever.
Yeah.
So last question is, how would you like to be remembered?
Wow. The same way I remember Johnny Cash, the same way I George Jones is still here, but he's made such an impact on me. Willie Nelson. I want to be remembered. I want 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 50 years from now, one of my songs to come on the radio, and it's still to touch the person that's listening, whether they be someone from our generation or someone from 3 or 4 generations down the road. I want someone to listen to a song and go, oh, I get that. That touches me here. That's what I want to be remembered for.
Well, that's great. All right, and I want to remind all the viewers to download more of my shows by going to youtube.com/Leesa Marilyn. That's Leesa Marilyn, one word. And I want to thank you, Wade, and the Wrecking Crew for 2 interviews now. The only one that's topped you is Eddie Money. I think I've interviewed him 3 times.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Eddie, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, he lives in Palm Coast. I want to thank you for watching, and thank Wade and the Wrecking Crew, well, you at least are here, and let everyone know where they can pick up this wonderful CD of you.
The CD is called Wade Williams, the very first time. You can get the actual CD at cdbaby.com/Wade Williams, or search Wade Williams at CD Baby, or you can download it singles or the entire thing at iTunes. So just type in Wade Williams on iTunes, and there it is.
Okay. And thanks again, and thanks to crowdpleaserartist.com. Check them out. If you want to book Wade, go to crowdpleaserartist.com. And thanks again for watching. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
God bless.